Hi guys, I'm here to show you how to make Swedish meatballs from my mother's recipe from the 1900s.
Okay guys.
First we're going to cut up some beef, 1 pound of beef into chunks, and then we're going to cut up 1/2 pound of pork. Bagi?
Ya.
Bab.
Ini sudah 2 hari
I think I need to cut the fat off. Okay, we don't really want too much fat. Yeah, it's fine. I'll cook like Julia Child. She just threw stuff around, you know. Sometimes she threw things around. Sometimes things fell on the floor. She didn't care. She didn't care. All right, we're gonna use one. I'll use 2 of those, and then that's gonna have to get put away. My mother made these meatballs every year for Christmas Eve when I was growing up in the 1900s. And she got this recipe from her aunt, who came from Sweden. So they're very authentic. Authentic Swedish meatballs from my great aunt Amelia. Okay, it's gonna go through the meat grinder. See, here it comes out as it's all ground up. We're also going to put 1/2 an onion in there, so I have to cut up 1/2 an onion as well.
Jadi mertuaku ini guys, keturunan Swedia Inggris.
Okay. Just so the crackers are just to clean out the remains of the meat. It helps make sure you get all of the meat comes through.
Guys, di dalamnya.
So we're going to put 1 cup of milk in here. Okay. So up to the 1 cup. And we're going to put some breadcrumbs in the milk. Soak the breadcrumbs, 1 cup breadcrumbs in the milk. Okay? And those are just going to get soaked in there till they get soft. So we'll just leave them in for a little while till we see that they've soaked up a lot of the milk. And then we're going to mix it all together. Yes. Oh, I forgot a Don't put this in the video, Lisa. What? 1 piece of beef dropped out, so oh well. So while the breadcrumbs are soaking in the milk, I'm going to take an egg. Okay, I'm going to take an egg, and the egg has to get mixed up. So we're going to beat the egg up a little bit. Just beating the egg up before it goes in. Okay, it's all going in here. Egg, milk, breadcrumbs. And then we're going to add some seasoning. Okay, we're going to add some salt and some pepper. And the most important ingredient, allspice from Indonesia, right? Isn't that funny? The recipe is from Sweden, but they used allspice. Anyway, so for this recipe, we're using 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, black pepper. And allspice. And salt. Just some salt. We're using sea salt, but you could use any iodized salt. Sea salt, fine crystals. And we will mix all that up together. Okay, it's important to mix it well. Remember, this is your breadcrumbs, milk, eggs, and seasoning. And that's all there is to it. Then we're going to mix it into the meat. This is the part where you get to get your hands into it, okay? So you want to make sure your hands are very clean. I'm going to wash my hands. Although it's very wet. I don't know why it's so wet. Hey guys, what do you think? Meatball. This is a meatball mixture. So, now the next thing is to make the meatballs. We have some shortening and we're going to put it in the pan and let it melt. Okay? And then we're going to cook the meatballs in the shortening.
Okay.
So, hi guys. I'm going to take little scoops of meat and roll them into small meatballs, and then they go in the pan to brown.
Ini caranya guys. Ternyata mana dia? Jadi kalau kita kan di itu ya, dimasukin dalam air. Kalau ini enggak. Ini kayak di apa sih namanya?
And we're not making them too big, just small meatballs.
Kayak bakso kecil lah, bakso sedang.
Kecil.
Kecil. You know that, right?
Kecil, yeah. Bola kecil.
Yeah.
I think my mother made them even smaller than this, but if you make them too small, then there's just so many of them. And this is the hardest part of the recipe. It's very labor intensive making because first you have to brown them all, and then you have to then you make the gravy, and then they just simmer for a while in the gravy.
Hi guys!
See, he's more of a star. I'm more of a.
Jadi guys, untuk perempuan tuh
Look at that bread!
bread.
Ooh, roti!
Jadi untuk perempuan tuh bikin itu apa meatball, yang laki-laki keahliannya adalah membuat roti, tapi roti sourdough. Ini iklan aja nih guys ya. Lagi satu roti. Nah, dibalik-balikin.
Not quite. They're not as quite as brown. But this one's better. That one's better. You need to brown them on all the sides, so it takes a little while. It takes a long while to do them all because you can only do so many at a time. See, we're still cooking. What time is it? Oh, I was hoping to be done by 4, and I think we will be.
Jadi proses ini yang paling lama guys.
Ah, that long, right? Long process.
Tempatnya satu doang dipakai.
Closer.
Dan ini dimasaknya sebentar aja nih.
Okay, guys. So now I'm going to add some flour, 2 tablespoons of flour to 2 cups of water. This is to make the gravy. And I'm whisking it around to get the flour all incorporated. And there we go. All right, now the meatballs are going back in the pan. All of the meatballs that have been browned are going to go back in gently, hopefully, so they don't break. They're very fragile, these meatballs. They break easily. Okay, and so now we're going to pour. There we go. And now I'm going to cover it. I'm going to put the cover on. Okay, the cover will go on, and they need to cook 1 hour.
Okay, guys.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then we'll show you what they look like after 1 hour. Bye. Hi guys. Time to eat the meatballs.
Sudah siap, guys. Tuh. Mau di serving.
Yeah, they're gonna go into this dish.
Jadi ini menu makan malam Natal. Malam Natal.
Malam Natal,
Yeah.
Christmas Eve.
Ya, Christmas Eve.